Oh my gosh, the Disney ride video is taking so long and it's gonna be so long. What the heck do I do in the meantime? Oh, Bob's Burgers Season 14 just started? Well, don't mind if I do. No other channel covers Bob's Burgers regularly, so I'm gonna be the one to do it. So Bob's Burgers just kicked off its 14th season with the episode Fight at the Not Okay Chore-al, which, of course, that's the title. And I gotta say, as someone who was worried Season 13's surprising quality was a mistake, I'm glad to see that the show is really good still. This episode was a great welcome to the new season, and I want to talk about it, I guess. Sure. So let's get out of the way. The thing that stood out the most with this episode was the visuals. This might be the best looking episode of the whole show. There are shots here that look like they could be from the movie. Like, this episode is shockingly gorgeous. And not just in the animation and paintings, we'll get to that, but like in the way it's shot. I touched on this with Radio No You Didn't in Season 13. It looks so cinematic. Like, this is not how a typical episode is produced, and you can tell, and I really love it. They really went with the whole Old West theme, not just with, like, the costumes, but, like, in the way it's shot and the way it's paced. It's great. Plus, there's a lot of good character acting. I've noticed that with this episode in particular. I hope that sticks around this whole season. There's so many good jokes that are delivered through the movement of the characters, and that's not typically the show's strong suit, but it works here. Plus, the colors, the lighting, the gorgeous painted backdrops, and the gorgeous painted, like, scenes, like the bit with the wolf joke. Like, look at that. Look at that! Plus, this is something the show hasn't done since, like, Season 5, but like subtle expression changes. This scene near the end where Linda's talking to Louise, it's like the emotional climax of the episode. It looks amazing because there's so much subtlety going on with the expressions. The way Linda's face changes to reflect her mood, it's so good. This is the kind of thing I've been wanting from the animation of this show, and I'm really happy about it. It looks great. Plus, I am someone who really doesn't enjoy the 3 stories anthology format that this show does, but I really like when they just devote a whole episode to an alternate universe premise like this. I think this is the way to go for these kinds of episodes. You just have all the time to devote to one setting, and I think it really works here. Something I really like about this episode is that it follows up on Louise's arc. Oh, yay, Louise. With her and Linda's connection especially getting a focus. Their connection has been one I kind of haven't really given much thought, but it's a really strong connection whenever it comes up. I love this episode, which has a title that is way too long to read out. Their connection's really strong. It was even the center of last season's finale, and I think it shows. I love when they have emotional moments, and I wish they got them more, and I hope this is a good sign for things to come. Right, what's the story of this episode about again? Linda tries to get the kids to do chores, they refuse, so it sprawls into a Wild West story where they kind of just clash their ideals through the story, which is a very fun premise. It also has this really, really mesmerizing horse. That's the best word I can use to describe him. He's mesmerizing. Who drew this? I just want to talk. Anyway, the story really is about that emotional core, which is usually the case with Bob's Burgers, and that's part of why I like it so much. And this is kind of why I liked last season's anthology episode so much. It's because it revolves around that really compelling emotional aspect of these characters. The story is important to the real story going on, if you get what I'm trying to say there. I think the comedy of this episode is also really strong, like one of the funniest episodes since like the April Fool's episode last season, which I'm aware wasn't that long ago, but like, I don't know, this one made me laugh a good amount. I just think that the 3 stories format, and this is probably what the rest of this video is going to turn to, needs to die. I think this episode is the one that kind of helped me realize why I don't like those episodes so much. Because this does the same thing, basically, with a problem arising in the family, so they tell stories to get to a resolution. But, like, I think it works better when you have the whole episode devoted to one story, instead of splitting it among 3. And I think that works better for one reason, because if you don't like a certain character's sense of humor, like a Jean, then you don't have to spend so long in their head. They just get to add little bits and pieces I think Gene's parts of this story that he added are pretty funny, because they're not the whole story, they're just little additions. I don't know, I feel like this episode is proof of something, because it's really funny and really tight and one of the better scripts of this show in a while, and those episodes are almost always just not funny. They just fall flat in the jokes. Even the one I liked last season, I won't say is like a very funny episode. I like it for the emotional core. Anyway, the point is, Bob's Burgers Season 14, off to a pretty good start. I'm gonna try to keep these up weekly. I'm really excited for next week's episode. It's gonna be Rudy-centric, apparently, and I'm pretty curious how that's gonna turn out.